Guys, Dr. Prometheus here, back with some more of Warno. This is, I think this is technically the new 4v4 airport map. I think it could possibly not be, but today playing this is the guys over at Squad Ops that we played with, so internal 4v4. We're going against Aethel, who's in the 3rd armor, who's going to be on the kind of like the center. On the far left for us, Madman Pete, who's working with the British 1st Armored. And then we're going to have Crick with the 8th Infantry. Looks like he's going more of a mech as opposed to a forward deployed anything. Not a lot of tanks. We kind of do a reinforcement with a lot of tanks with ours. Plus we have like an air assault element portion that would work in this situation. And then it is not NSA spy. Spy over here doing a Huey push with some recon and some movement. On our side we have Stevo, who is the 79th, going to be on the right side holding this position. Oddball, who's fairly new to the game, he's going to be playing as the Berliner Grupperung, kind of playing the city and the inside. We got myself and Joe. We play pretty well together. We've played the last games we've seen together, and we've played pretty well. So he's doing the 119th, and we are playing with the new 27th. I think that's Guards Infantry Division, Motor Stroking Division. With the new artillery and everything like that. Our idea was to heavily hit this, and pretty much give up this left flank and just contest it. As we come through, Joe's going to be the first one with contact. We bring up our AA here just to kind of help with any push that Spy has. Stevo called out these Hueys from here, so we're eventually going to move this Mi-24. But first contact is going to be the Mi-24s of Joe taking down Madman Pete's, Carl Gustavs, and a couple of them in there. That gas is going to be taken down, but the Spetsnaz OP is able to get out. BRDM coming up. It's going to actually miss and then finally be hit. But the Mi-24s do absolute work against that infantry. Now, Pete is pushing hard on the left side. I did forget to cap that because our BMP was a little fast, but Oddball was able to take it. We move this BMP in this space here, and then Oddball is going to move up some. This is like a shared defensive position we kind of do, but they pushed all the way on the side, and I actually didn't see this before. Pete actually empties over here. We take this point, but we do a very easy, simple, slow defense over here. We have our first contacts here. Try to put the Igla here in the forward portion of the airfield. It doesn't work, so we are going to solidify our section of the field here. Oddball heavily in the town. We also put we put an ATGM in this, and yeah, the motor Strelke, and he has a recon T80 of Oddball coming up, doing some work here. So we're kind of operating in this area. Joe bring in a seed. He does see the rapier. It's not actually going to hit there. And the PVED opens up once the seed gets behind. One thing we are going to do is we're going to have some fun. The new artillery, it is radar assisted or radar guided. This bad boy is absolutely OP. The shots on it are going to be absolutely crazy. Oddball coming up with the Barentino as well. So they don't put anything out here, but Oddball does talk and say that, hey, there's some warriors and some infantry behind us. Weird that Pete doesn't recognize that he hasn't had any resistance here. We start hitting him hard on the airfield. I'm not sure what the idea was, but we pushed them in this general area, and we thought previously before the game kind of went that their reinforcement is going to come down this road and split this way, or if it was going over here, it would come down and split this way. So we're playing to kind of hold intersections and roads. That's kind of how we're playing. We bring Joe brings up his BMP-1 to capture this. We're just gonna bring in more Mi-24s to kind of just use a standoff position. A lot of fighting in the forest. This becomes an absolute stalemate. Steven did a pretty good job of holding Spy and just stalemating this while we work the problem in the middle, which is the main thing that we had to do. So Pete holding this up. We're gonna put some Conquerors and a couple of more things up in the forest right here and Foxtrot. Biggest thing is they don't really push that, which is kind of weird. Siege coming through, misses the PVADs, which is unfortunate. Does taken down by the Stingers. With that in mind, here it is. So this is what this unit is. So if you don't know, everything that's not encircled will be a regular shot. So to kind of bring up this, it'd just be a regular shot. Now this is guided indirect fire. What this means is anything that this recon units can see, like in these bubbles, it is a perfect shot. So that PVAD took 3 shots to kill because we are within that circle. So one thing I told is we're going to bring in this AT to kill this command. We are finally going to get it, but I think that AT is going to go and be killed with the F-15 Eagles. So what this allows me to do is within those areas, we're going to start pounding anti-air assets. We're going to allow Joe to bring up his helos, use his aircraft, and we're just going to pound the living hell out of any anti-air that we see or any infantry that could be recon for them. That's what we were thinking about with that. So here's more artillery coming in, kind of helping the Spetsnaz, and that is right on target because of the radar guided with that. Like that is the shots from these, if you, because you can only get 2 on a deck, I think. 2 of these bad boys. I'm also like firing and moving them at the same time. These things can do absolute work. So out on the flanks, he's not really pressing this. Our Conquerors is just going to sit right here. Oddball is going to get more recon in this area, which will eventually show that they have forces moving through here and will force us to clear through. So Joe gets his aircraft up to take out those 2 buildings. And here comes more artillery from us. Unfortunately, we are already something that has already been destroyed. Just slightly unfortunate. But that warrior is going to die from a good missile that I think came from this BMP-2, I think. We're going to bring up a T-80 to kind of just hold this airfield section so if they kind of push across. We also have some good recon. We're a little weak on the right side, but the fact that we have so many ATGMs in buildings, like we have a Motor Striking Menace, we end up putting also a Conqueror's M in here, which ensure that no vehicles could remotely pass and push. However, obviously there's a dead zone here. With this, they can come over here that this Conquerors will end up seeing. I think we should have more heavily fortified this area of the airfield, but I kind of was confident that Oddball, with everything here, could hold this. And so I was mostly working this problem with Joe. So more is coming in. Oddball getting some MT-120s. I think this is the new one. 100 mil. And then Madman Pete is kind of signaled where he's getting shot at from the T-80s. Joe's already repaired his T-80s. Here comes a good amount of artillery on the arrow rifle, so ensuring that they can't use these forests. As AT team, we're just hoping that the Spetsnaz can deal with it. Joe bringing up another Spetsnaz. And luckily the T-80 there takes out that. And there's a Centurion in there. So we're kind of just holding them at bay at this point. And now here comes our second artillery, and we are going to rain artillery. We're going to bring up an Mi-24 as well. We're going to win this by literally standing off helos. We're going to get this Tunguska to make sure any of the aircraft that come near the airfield are actually opposed by legit stuff. And we are just going to start hitting his units. So Joe had pointed out this engineer unit. I was already hitting it. I hit the front unit there. We're going to redirect fire again on the engineer units, and we are going to start pounding. Yeah, so I saw the Sultan because I think of this Spetsnaz GRU. I could see the Sultan about here. And so when it gets over in like this area where it ends up sitting, we have a gap in there, but somehow we could see this here, and I'm not sure how we eventually were able to see it, because I think even with our helos, oh, it was the helo here can barely see it. Yes, the helos can barely see that. We're gonna bring in, I think, another Mi-24 AT. That's how good that artillery is. 2 more units taken down. And now we're going to start hitting some of these stingers. Joe bringing up some recon, so Rosetka. And Joe was doing his best to hold this. I mean, at this point, he is facing off against Man Pete and Athel. We're keeping Athel honest by pretty much holding this flank and ensuring that if he comes across this T-80 starts destroying anything. So we force them to come down here, and it's a little much for Joe to kind of handle. We're going to reinforce this a little bit. But as time goes on, we start seeing an infantry fight here. I put some more into it. We put some air assets into it as well for ourselves. We start actually helping Joe in the force because Joe's more of an armor deck. But also what helps is we start hitting their air assets, which allows Joe to kind of move around. We're doing pretty good. I see the supply, and so I start hitting the supply as well. And we have a ticking war score 2 right now. This became a hell zone for them to kind of try to come across. And Stevo did a pretty good job of just attritioning Spy over time, which is the biggest thing that we wanted to do. But this Barantino, I saw it fire. I didn't see if it eventually, like, what it killed. Kills one there. It does end up killing the Chaparral. It kills an Abrams. A little bit too shy for Crick's infantry. No! It kills some of Crick's infantry there as well. So that was actually a good Barantino. I wasn't sure about that. Crick does ping the Barantino, but it's not going to be able to do anything against it. Abrams taking some shots from the T-80s now. And here's where we start seeing a lot of issues with Joe in the forest. And we're going to start putting some forces out there. Joe putting out some seed, trying to make sure it's out there. Now these guys, I do put this BMP-2 over here. I did not know these guys were over here, and I think Pete forgot that they were over there as well. Because he starts trying to press Joe on his flanks from here. Joe, of course, doing the great thing that he can with the artillery. It's gonna be a little bit short, but hey, it works. We start seeing more and more. We're gonna bring up our SU-17 to deal with that Sultan. Again, it's a light command. Sultan, though, does not get any shots on it, which I thought was really weird. So we're just gonna tell him to get out of here from that, and we are gonna artillery it because this F-15 is out here. Tunguska doesn't take a shot on it. Joe's gonna take this seat out once more. Gonna take a shot at the PVED and actually just damage it. Not actually gonna hit it before it goes down. That is just unfortunate. In the town, I finally put the Conqueror's M out here. Now the Conqueror's M, its range is 26-25. So we're saying the outer ring there. So it's a very good Conqueror's unit. Athel's starting to get some Team Dragons over here. We eventually don't see these until they start moving over in these buildings. We don't see them at this point. But instead, we're going to bring us some Motor Strelky Metis, and I see this gap. I want to kind of put this Motor Strelky and whatnot over here, which is how we end up seeing both the Fire Team Dragons. More artillery coming in. We see that supply. It will not live. It is dead. That's kind of why we just keep on ensuring they can't supply towards the front close, so they give some ground. And here it is. We finally saw the Fire Team Dragons. Just BMP2 here. We're going to get this Motor Strelky over in the town. And we're doing a pretty good job of holding here. Now, Steve-O is kind of counter-pushed Spy, and it's just a war of attrition with infantry in this one. And Steve-O did a pretty good job pulling off Spy. Pretty much a one-on-one fight over there. Now, here's the Nighthawks. This was one of the things that we were kind of worried about. Nighthawks, they haven't really been buffed, but they can only be seen by certain units. So Nighthawk comes in. He's gonna do some bombing and turn off the map. That's a smart turn off the map there. So Aethel does signal, hey, this BMP is there. We've taken out his command just with artillery. And now here's back Man Pete trying to push this side. We're going to put some infantry here just to delay to allow Joe to kind of resupply this. This chieftain being hit by the T-80s and the BMPs. So it's pretty good there. Aethel just wants to defend this area. Starting to see a Stinger because we're bringing up this Mi-24 to try to see these two units. The Stinger is going to see the AT first, get one shot on it before we move it back. So we are taking shots at this point over in this direction. So we started hitting this. This would have been galore if I was really trying to hit this. But the biggest thing we're trying to do is keep Joe in business. The RPG-29, we're trying to get a couple of warriors out, so at least it's infantry on infantry at that point. We're only going to take out one of the warriors. There's the second one before this infantry unit is taken down. Now, it's only 4 strength. So the idea is surgical strikes with them. The Sapri RPO, though, is pretty good. Dealing with the Carl Gustavs. Then from here, Joe is going to start committing his units out here. There's a T-80U against a Challenger, ensuring that they can't come forward. Their artillery starts coming in. Unfortunately, losing that Spetsnaz there actually decreases our ability to put very good artillery down on spots. So recon is very, very big for our artillery. The thing is, we do have a good look here with this BMP-2. We do have a good look from this Rosetka over here, so we at least can see this portion of the airfield. But at this point, we've lost all ability to hit anything kind of in this space, which is a good bulk that Joe wanted artillery on that. What we're going to end up doing though, bring in some air. Bring in some air. Over here, Aethel gets a command vehicle in, but the motor stroking Menace can hear it. That is a good artillery strike, killing both of those units. We keep on missing the M577 command vehicle. We get ours back in. We're going to start actually resupplying in here. Artillery coming in from the 109s from Aethel. This is going to stop right here and start getting these guys up. Metal striking metal. This BMP-2 is going to start taking shots. So the Dragon can shoot from there. The thing is, the autocannon has more range. So this BMP-2 is going to be able to hit these Dragons without ever being touched, which is great. Here comes the artillery. We hit it once. 2 more rounds coming in. Missed that second one. Third one's going to hit. Another one coming in. That's going to be a miss. We're forcing it back. Motor stroking Menace coming through. We take the AT to the Abrams behind it. It's going to be hit with a lot of PVETs, but it's not going to matter. But that F-16 is going to take it down. At that point, I think we're a little late on getting a lot of our air up in the middle here. This Tor, I did not realize what the range was. This Tor should likely be like up here. I end up putting another Tor. It needs to be like up here. So it's not as long, and you just have to remember that. Unfortunately, this is the first time using the Tor because it's new with this unit. So autocannons coming in to take out the Team Dragons. The Menace is going to deal with that as well pretty easily. The Stinger is going to start getting shots as well. We're going to bring up a helo to eventually kill it though. And then from there, that command vehicle will be in peril. Unfortunately though, this motor strokey is not going to kill the Dragon fast enough. It's going to take a couple of friendly fire. There's the Menace. It's taking a shot at the command and it hits it. There's the Mi-24 killing that, and we'll use the Mi-24 to kill that. So we start bringing our artillery over here to kind of stem this tide. We have a good bit of stoppage with our artillery that is accurate. We'll just put it right behind the line and just keep them there to either fight or die there, and they will die there. Again though, P does not move up these warriors and these Carl Gustavs and infantry. I'm not sure why. He probably forgot about them. So Aethel wants to defend this area here. Again, that was where they were sneaking in the command. Oddball had a very good hold on here. Pretty much Stevo fights Spy to a stagnant at this point. Spy runs out of infantry. There's this infantry element back here, but the reality is pushing with these aren't going to do much to kind of threaten this. So they're trying to, they have it stagnant, but eventually we're going to break through. Me and Joe played more of a war of attrition with these guys. We just took the position and held it as best as we could. Good artillery coming in, but our artillery is going to do more damage to that than anything. Because now we have recon back there now, and ours is going to hit this hard. So rush here from Athel and all of the guys. That's mainly because they now have this airport, and we're thinking if we can take this out again, then we'll be fine. Joe's going to try to sneak his BMP-1 in here to neutralize and get us back in the count. Mi-24 rockets here. We bring in our MiGs to kind of come down and hit the Challenger. It is going to hit the Challenger, and then Joe's helos are going to ensure that this push is stopped dead in its tracks. So our artillery is still raining down on these arrow rifles. We're going to bring in an Mi-8 just to test to see where it is, so we know there's stingers here. Tarantino, one more time, ensuring that Crick can't move up the infantry and hits the supply. There's a Berlin Light Rifles. Some spy trying to come through and get that. Now Steve-O is going to start putting in some T-80s in that as well. So Joe did a pretty good job of holding that, and I did a pretty good job of just ensuring the flank is threatened, holding Oddball's flank so he can concentrate here. Joe can, it was all about getting as much territory as here for Joe to ensure that if they're coming down this line, they go here, or they run straight into Joe. It's harder for them to come down this way and then reinforce. Meanwhile, Joe's reinforcement is very direct. Like straight out here, direct into his lines. Or if we're reinforcing this, it's direct up through right here. For us, it's direct. For Oddball, it's direct. And for Steve-O, it was direct. Now, Steve-O does lose this, but the thing is, Spy can't get a command vehicle back here. So the reality is, Steve-O can just press Crick on the flank, and that's what we end up doing. They just simply ran out of units in this. Joe was running out of infantry units. However, we were just taking out so many units, so many commands, that they ran out of command units more than anything. MiG-29 is coming in to try to deal with the Apaches. They do win, and an Eagle goes down from this MiG-29. So good one there. We start seeing a lot of these Milans. The issue is, though, well, we do have guided, actually. Joe did a pretty good job of keeping up his actual recon so we can target it, do some damage. We've now taken over this building here, and with some Pomoshinki and some Spetsrozitka, along with the BMP-2 for a little bit of stability. And then from there, they cannot actually push anything in this space. So it comes down to the fact that we're going to see a lot of Steve-O kind of push down the right side and ensure that no one can hold it. I mean, just a war of attrition on the right side, and Oddball and Steve-O did some good work. While we ensured that Athel could not use a lot of his scouts to be able to see what's in front of him, forced him to come in at ATGM range and helo range of Joe, so Joe can wipe the units from there. So I thought it was a pretty good job in this one. Steve-O will get there momentarily, which will end the game. Like, that's how deep we're in this. We have full air superiority at this point. MiG-29 coming in from us. We're just taking out helos. That MiG-29 takes a shot at those. Forces the arrow rifles out from there. We are getting artillery strike. We pull away from that. We're not really worried about it because this Rosetka can see anything over here. So we're not really worried about it. Pete trying to press Joe a little bit more. We're going to bring our Mi-24 AT in through here to ensure that if they're going to use this road, they're going to be hit by this Mi-24. They're going to force them to play within this pocket, which is a pocket we are very familiar with because the Spetsnaz OP is going to do some work against those challengers, the tanks. We're going to get out some more recon just because Joe was starting to lose out on recon in this area. So we're going to get a couple more recon. We're going to put one over here and put one right into here so we can keep up this recon front while these artillery is reloading. So it allows Joe to really use his recon in this forest as opposed to here. And there is the game with Steve-O taking this outer edge and just not enough for Spy to really do anything there. So with that, looking at the kills, so our Mi-24A, we used that pretty well to stop the push from Spy, but we also killed some gunners in that. Artillery, I mean, while it didn't have a ton of kills, because it's not like a very fast firing artillery by any means, or very heavy hitting like some of the MLRS or the Barentino. Very specific targets, if you notice. PVADs, commands, supply vehicles. They have fire team AT4s. This is very, very directed fire. AT taking out another command. Conkers taking out 2 more commands. That's the Conkers that was up in the building. This one, again, very directed. Toes. The M113s probably with the toe or the stinger. Stingers and supply. Very directed fire with the artillery. This Conkers M took out 2 Abrams and a PVAD. Pretty much these are the guys who were in the force line. This Conkers M took down a Bradley. Recon Bradley. The Su-17, this was a good one because that Abrams could have been a bad thing to deal with our IFVs. Well, Su-17 takes it down. BP2, Berlin Light Rifles, Humvees, Gunners, Fireteam Dragons. They can outrange the Fireteam Dragons, so that's a good thing to know there. This MiG-27 with the HE took down a tracked Rapier. Motor Striking Metis with another command. This Mi-24K recon, which is much more valuable when you're using this type of deck. It's much more valuable because of the fact there's a recon element, so you're not want to push them up. You kind of want to stand them off and push them up as needed. But these are insane. BMP2. That now the T8s. We didn't use the T8s all that much because I saw this. I kind of saw it a little late because we were more worried about artillery and some infantry. Then I forgot I actually had the T8s, which were just modified Su-25s, I think, with like 18 ATGMs on them. We didn't really use it. We did call one in that ended up killing it out of wet because we were trying to put it into a heavy air contested area. If I used it how I normally do with a lot of armor and a lot of open field type deal, you're microing it, and these could be really deadly with how long they are. But also I think they ended up calling it an F-16 or an F-15, and it ended up killing it, so we didn't get a lot of use out of it. And this MiG-29 taking down a Cobra. That's a very directed attack. I saw the Cobra giving some issues to Steve-O's tanks as where they were actually moving across the open, so we thought, hey, this is going to be a very directed attack from there. We ended up taking not a lot of things dead, mostly aircraft and the infantry that we put in the forest. One thing to note, I think they just ran out of command. That was the issue. So it's kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 commands killed 2 of them by artillery, 2 of them by Conqueror's M, so that's another new unit. Su-17, I don't think this is new, the Su-17s, but it kills 1. BMP-2 AG, I think that's a new variant, but I could be wrong. And just the Motor Striking Metis had 1, so pretty directed fires, pretty good game. I thought it was pretty good for us. So thank y'all for joining me. Go and leave a like below, comment, and subscribe. We will eventually have one with the new US deck. I just have to find a deck variation that I like. This was the second time that I played with this deck on the Soviet side. I would play that up, but the biggest thing with that was it was a very lopsided game just because they forgot to bring in commands, and we didn't really command rush, but we just played normal and won the game through that. So this one was a bit more of a traditional game with that aspect. So we'll have the US NATO one up. I'm not sure what the actual unit is, but we'll have that up shortly on the channel. So thanks for hanging out. If I haven't said it already, thank you, and I will see you guys next time. Later.